Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick from forexnoobs.com with the daily analysis. Today is Thursday, the 19th of March, 2020. Time is 1 p.m. here in the UK. You're looking at a USDCHF hourly chart. Now, I just had an error with the stream saying that YouTube live streaming was offline, so could you guys please confirm that you can hear me? I'm not 100% sure that you guys are actually able to hear me or that this stream is even working. Alright, cool. I've heard a lot of things such as YouTube and stuff are just having a hard time coping with the massive amounts of people who are trapped at home, bored, and turning to Netflix, YouTube, etc. So I think the YouTube servers were having a momentary hiccup that seems to have resolved itself. So awesome. Right, let's get into the analysis, guys. It's been a pretty good week, hasn't it, so far? Did anyone get out of this USDCHF trade with profit? This is one that George shared to the forum. Oh, you got out, George? Nice. I missed out. It didn't quite hit my target. But see, this is the beautiful thing about breakout trading and the way we're trading right now in reaction to this to the changes the coronavirus has had on the markets. I ended up the cool thing about this style of trading is our targets are generally quite big, so our targets are 3 times the size of our stop loss, and more often than not, our stop loss gets moved to break even, and we get taken out at break even when we do get taken out. So in this case, I got taken out at break even, so I didn't really lose anything on this trade. Sadly, I didn't gain anything, but hey, at least I didn't lose anything. Yeah, so you got out. So did anyone else get out with some profit on this one, or were you guys mostly break even like me? Yesterday's one was awesome though. That one we got out with like we got out with 3.2R. There's actually going to be a live trade video for that one. We got out like right at the top. It was perfect. We're going to keep trying to ride this USD uptrend. Obviously, it had a bit of a setback around here. Now, this resistance area was only placed because of this move here. It didn't exist before then, so it's not like we really saw that resistance area coming. If anything, resistance would have been up here, but it didn't quite reach there. But I think it makes sense to put resistance here now, since it did very clearly bounce from there. We might adjust this resistance area down a little bit, something like that. We'll see how it goes, but it makes sense right now to have it here. But yeah, we're going to keep trying to, like I said, we're going to keep trying to ride this uptrend as far as it will go, because the US dollar is heading up. It's quite strong right now. We can take a quick look at DXY to see. I think TradingView's having a hard time coping too because it's so laggy lately. Yeah, so you take a quick look at DXY and you see that it's been climbing a lot since the 10th of March. It's just up, 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 up. Only one day where it fell back. Otherwise, it's just been up, 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 up. Today, even, it's already made new highs. So I think DXY is just going to keep on rising as... well, I won't get into it anymore because I explained it in so much detail in Tuesday's analysis, and then I explained it again in yesterday's members only analysis. So there's no point going over it again and again, but the US dollar is going to gain strength, so I'm going to favor USD longs at the moment for as long as this trend lasts, which should be a while because of the coronavirus. We're going to see the US dollar appreciate in value, but the worrying thing is right now there's presumably been a lot of central bank intervention to stop a lot of these moves. So we are taking trades in line with this USD bullish strength, but central banks are stepping in to stop a lot of these moves in their tracks because it's horrible for for the economy of the country. So for example, yesterday GBP, it was crashing. It's made 30-year lows. It's insane what GBP USD did yesterday. And then right about 1.1400 here, it would appear that the central bank intervened. Now, I haven't really read my financial news this morning. I've been a bit lazy this morning. So maybe there is official news on the central banks intervening. I'm not sure about that. But to me, my guess is when it got this low, the central banks had to step in and say, no, you can't drop any further. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Fed got involved too. So I think there was some intervention around this point. So we need to keep that in mind when we're following this USD trend, that there is at some point going to be central bank intervention that's going to stop it getting too crazy. Or, it could have also just stopped because it stopped. I mean, it's not necessarily central bank intervention, but it's likely. It's very possible. Has anyone read any news to confirm that? Like I said, I've been a bit lazy this morning, and I didn't check my financial news, so I'm not 100% sure if it was. Just taking a quick look right now. Yeah, okay. It doesn't look like you guys have heard anything. I can't see anything on just a quick scan of Bloomberg. Doesn't matter that much anyway. It's just something that we need to be aware of. Oh, he did? Did he mention central bank intervention? Told you I've been lazy. That's the one I always read. I told you guys yesterday too. I'm like, hey guys, I always read this. And then of course, the one day I don't read it is the day after I tell you guys that I always read it. I was going to get to it eventually. I just... Alright, anyway. Sorry guys, I was just having a quick look. So, it did stall out here. That's the important thing. Now, let's take a look at some actual setups down on the 1 hour chart. So yeah, I still think USD is heading up. It's just unfortunate that this trade pulled back just before hitting my target, but some of you got out with profit. I'm still looking for a long here, but this time I'm going to wait till it breaks above this resistance area to go in long for a bit of a breakout trade. If you're not familiar with breakout trading, we discussed it a bit in the members only analysis yesterday. For non-members, we'll be holding a webinar sometime next week where I'll go over it in a bit more detail. And for Forex Mastermind members, we'll be holding 2 webinars next week where we go over in even more detail with a few more strategies that we'll be using. Let's look for some more setups right now. Now, we aren't exclusively trading breakouts. It's not like breakouts are the only setups that we can trade. Breakouts are great right now, but we are definitely looking for a lot of different things at the moment. So USDCHF, let me mark this as orange actually. So I'm still looking for a breakout trade here on USDCHF. What I want to see is price pushing above this resistance area. Once it gets above this resistance area, I'll be looking at an entry, hopefully on a candle close. That would be ideal if a candle closes above this resistance area. But I might even do it before the candle closes on the hourly chart. Maybe get a candle close on the 30-minute. So basically what we're looking for is just a close above this resistance area. Obviously, it's very important where that close happens. If it closes up here, like that, just imagine a candle like that. It would be a bit silly to enter long here because we need a stop loss somewhere down here, and that would be a huge stop loss. So ideal situation would be just a nice, something like this. Let's say over the next 2 hours, or the next hour, let's say. Something like this. See, so that would be the close above. We'd stick a stop loss down here, entry here, target around 3 times the size, 2.5 times the size is the minimum. So target would be roughly something like that. And we'd look for that nice move up. So I'm still looking for that here on USDCHF. Just like yesterday's. Euro USD. Now this one has, quite interestingly, this morning it's broken its 2017 low. So, well, technically speaking, it was the 18th of February low, but before that, it was 2017 that it hadn't been. Yeah, so 2017 April, it had been a bit lower. It made a new low on the 18th of Feb. It climbed since then, and then it absolutely crashed over the past week. And today it broke those lows. So going back to the hourly, I'm still looking for some shorts here. That's in line with USD strength, Euro weakness. I wouldn't mind seeing it continue to fall here. Not seeing much on AUD-CAD, guys. Nor am I seeing much on AUD-CHF. Just really apprehensive about trading all these AUD pairs at the moment. We got, actually that's one thing I haven't done. Let's take a quick look at the news. Because the news is probably going to be changing a lot. It won't be as set in stone as it normally is. But yeah, there's nothing much happening. Obviously, Trump speaking. As always, you have to watch out when Trump speaks. You never know what he's going to say. CAD JPY is on the climb. Yeah, nothing much here, guys. Oops. So one area there, obviously. Yeah. This one's a bit weak, but it's based on price struggling to get above here on its way up. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything there. I've just placed a support resistance in case we do see something. Yeah, not really seeing anything in EuroCAD. Yeah, Sonia, it's more efficient doing webinars at this time if we're trading the 1 hour charts, because it allows, you know, it's a bit into the London session. It's around the start of the New York session. Well, just a little bit before the start, but it's around the time the New York session takes off. So it's the peak time for movement in Forex is usually when the London, Euro, and New York session are all open at once. So the reason I'm starting at this time is because, wait, no. Yeah, okay, I would just wanted to, but it's going to change. 9, 10, we're going forward an hour. One sec. It's not perfect because of daylight savings. Because I think New York is right now. Yeah, so the New York session has started technically, but it's going to change next week, I believe, or the week after. Anyway, the point is, this is a great time to start. Because it's just at that point where all 3 sessions are open together. So when we're trading the hourly charts, this is the perfect time to start. Right, anyway, Euro GBP. Just need to confirm this is in fact a valid support resistance area. Probably be hard to do so because what? Trading views are being really weird right now. And like I said, a lot of these companies are struggling to deal with. See, when I switch down to the daily, one of my support resistance areas just disappears completely. This one here, the 94900. On the 4 hour, it appears up there. On the daily, it doesn't. I don't know what's going on. I think it's just like I was saying at the start of this webinar, I think it's just increased capacity on servers because there's so many people at home. So I think a lot of these things are going to start acting up. But this does in fact seem to be a valid support area. And this one here. Be interesting if we start seeing a range here on Euro GBP. Because yesterday we saw a massive fall in the value of the pound. The euro was falling too, but nowhere near as much. Today the pound has been stable, but the euro has been falling. So if we start to see a pattern like that, we could start to see a bounce a bounce between these 2 areas over the coming days. I'm going to keep an eye out for that. It'd be quite good to trade the range here if it turns into a range. It's not a range yet, so let's not get excited. But it could turn into a range. It's been some pretty exciting times to trade in though. Based on how slow last year was, 2020 has just been off the charts amazing. It's unfortunate that it was a pandemic that's caused the markets to move so nicely, but we're traders. All we can do is trade it no matter the reason. We've got to keep trading. That being said, right now, there's really not that many setups. What's this support area based on? I'm not too sure. Oh, some of the lows back there. Right, so it does make sense as an area. GBPJPY is trending down heavily. It is at resistance right now. I'm definitely looking for a potential short from this resistance area on the hourly chart. Quite interested in that, so... I'll get into more detail on that one in a sec. Let's just get through the rest of this list. Your support resistance areas are going to be changing a lot in the coming weeks. Well, no, in the coming days even. Support resistance areas, when you're trading the hourly, they need to be updated a lot. So we're going to have to find a solution to share my support resistance areas more efficiently. So we got a bit of a range forming here on GBPUSD, which could be interesting between these two levels. Now this one's probably going to be better traded on the 15-minute chart, something like that. 30-minute chart. You could do it on the hourly too. The point is there's just a range, so let's keep an eye on this range. It could be good. No, I don't like that. Mixing things up? Yeah, I am. Never mind. Can't really get good support resistance right here for New Zealand USD. USDCHF range. USDCAD's another one I'm quite interested in. Yeah. So it'd be interesting if USDCAD manages to break this level, because on the daily chart, this is a really extreme high. It's a 2016 high, and before that, it hadn't been below this level since 2003. So if we continue to see this USD strength, which I believe we will, it'll probably break that 2016 high. It's very possible. So if it does, I'll definitely be looking for a long breakout trade. So I'd want to see a close above this resistance area, above the previous high here. So perhaps a close above... I need to just remove this tool from my list, because I don't actually use it. I don't know why it's there. Actually, no, I'll keep it. I use it sometimes. I just rarely use it. Never mind. So a close above 1.4674 would be ideal. Doesn't look like it's going to do that right now, but it could do it today, or it could do it tomorrow. Definitely something to look out for. USDJPY is another interesting case because it's likely that this one's going to continue to rise too. Yeah, in line with these bounces here. Yeah, USDJPY looks quite good for a potential short right now. But ideally, what I would want to see would be a long breakout because I'm not very convinced about shorting the USD right now. So ideally, it would close above here and we could get a long breakout, which would be awesome. But over the shorter term, there might be an opportunity to get in short pretty soon. The risk to reward ratio is just not that great. I'm not going to do it, guys. Risk to reward ratio is not great. I don't think it's it's not a great setup at all. Now, I'm going to just hold out for that long trade. So what I want to see is I want to see price push up above and close up here somewhere. So essentially, I want to see a close above the 110.07, but a little bit higher would be better. 110.20 would be awesome. So close above there, then we could just hop into that trade. Get a 2.5 risk to reward ratio, which is halfway decent. So yeah, USDJPY. I'm not going to trade gold and silver at the moment. That's just something I have on my list because I like monitoring what gold and silver is doing. It's quite interesting. See, silver tanked, as did gold. They seem to have been stopping recently, but I wouldn't be surprised if they slip even lower. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add... No, I can't get... Oh, I can just move these. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to do. I'm going to move DXY. I just want to stick these on my Forex list, just so it's easier to access them and look at them, because it's quite interesting keeping an eye on these. This is an oil chart coming up as soon as... I'll check out USDCHF too, I forgot to do that. This is an oil chart. You can see oil is just crashing. Are you guys seeing reduced prices at the pumps, or... Because we're not really. You're just in Manchester. You're not that far from me. Last I looked, they hadn't reduced much at all. I usually get my oil from Costco, and Costco dropped about 3p. So 116 to 113, which isn't significant at all. It's still cheap though. Costco's got good prices. Guys, it looks like we missed a trade here on USDCHF. Are you in this, George? Did you post it to the chat room? Yeah, Costco is awesome. You just entered. There's still opportunity to enter. Let's take a look at this one. Ooh, that's nice because we don't have any significant resistance, although it is messy. Let's not pretend it's not messy. There is some resistance here, but that's almost free art before it even hits resistance. Oh, perhaps there's some minor resistance here. A bit of a tricky one. I might actually enter this one. But my entry is going to suck unless it pulls back. This is very minor difference in entry. Takes this down to a 2R. Did you share it to the forum? You're in USDCHF again too? Posting it now, right. Ooh, it fell back, it fell back. It's a bit of a risky trade, guys, but I am going to take it. As always, you have to remember, we've had a really good run so far with these trades. I'm going to talk while I do this on my phone. So we got to remember, we've had a good run with these 1 hour chart trades. We're doing extremely well, but you shouldn't let that, and I really need to give this warning every time, don't let that make you overconfident. You really shouldn't let that make you overconfident because these trades do not have the highest win rate. So far they have, but that doesn't mean that that will continue. Generally speaking, trades like, oh my God, will you move? Sorry, I'm trying to enter this trade while doing this, so. Yeah, so generally speaking, trades like this do have a lower win rate. So we've had a good run. We haven't taken a loss yet. We've taken some break-even trades, but we haven't taken a full loss yet. But don't let that make you overconfident. These trades are riskier than taking daily chart trades in terms of being stopped out with your full loss. So just keep that in mind. And by don't let it get you overconfident. I mean, you don't want to risk too much on a trade like this just because the last 5 have done pretty well for us. You don't want to risk too much. Now, I'm just about to pull the trigger on this one, but I'm not yet because it's not moving nicely anymore. Yeah. I'm gonna hold off on this one, guys. I'm not gonna enter yet. It's obviously not doing exactly what I want it to do. So I'm not gonna enter yet. I'm gonna hold off and just let this one develop a little bit more. yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, where were we? Let's do a quick summary, guys. And I know this analysis, just another warning, I know this analysis might seem all over the place, but just keep in mind that we've only been doing this, we've only switched to this style of trading recently. So, you know, it's going to take a little while for things to run more efficiently with the analysis sessions, because I'm still trying to get my footing. Normally we're looking at daily charts, which is a lot slower, and you don't really have to make these snap decisions on the daily charts. So yeah, just if you find this analysis is a little all over the place, just give me a little while to get things sorted in the process. So USDCHF, we're just waiting for a break above this resistance area. I want to go long from there. Technically speaking, you could maybe go in long here on like the 15-minute chart right now. I'm not going to do that. I'm a little concerned about USD strength right now. Now, obviously, I've been saying that I think USD is going to be strong and it's going to keep moving up. That doesn't mean that every minute of every day I'm expecting it to move up. Right now, we did see some USD weakness, and it fell back. So I'm just not sure about USD strength right now, which is why I'd prefer to wait for a break. If USD manages to make a new high and break above this area, then I'll be convinced of USD strength, so I'll be looking for a long from there. But from here, USD has already shown itself to be a little bit weak at the moment, and it can't really push up through here. So I'm going to hold off on going long on USDCHF right now. We'll see how that goes. Euro GBP. I'm so used to clicking the daily, but I shouldn't be. Euro GBP, we just want to see if a range forms between these two levels. It's still very early days, because it's only had one bounce from the top and not even a bounce from the bottom. But it is definitely possible for a range to form here. And you got to keep in mind, this is the hourly chart. So a range can form quite quickly. It's not like the daily chart where when you see something like this, it could be 2 weeks before you get a proper range formed. A range could form, you know, even today. We could get a bounce from here over the course of 2 hours, bounce back down over the course of 2 hours. It'd be quick moves, but I'm just trying to, you know, illustrate the point that the hourly chart can change quickly. So let's keep an eye on that for a range. GBPJPY, I'm waiting for a close of this current candle. Then I'll be looking for a short from here in line with this bearish trend. So it will just be a short continuation trade. Something like this, perhaps. The risk to reward ratio isn't really fantastic, let's be honest. But there is definitely some potential here. So let's keep a close eye on this one. Also, let's place a support area down here, because it makes complete sense to do so. And finally, let's make these areas a little bit thinner, because they're so wide and it's confusing me when I look at the charts. Oops. No, that's better. So GBPJPY, I'm just looking for a short continuation. GBPUSD, this one's falling into a range potentially, but this one's more like a 15-minute chart range. It's just a range between these two levels here. Keep an eye on that. USDCAD, now going back to the hourly, very similar to USDCHF. In fact, I'm just going to kind of group these together up the top. I'm just looking for a continuation. So a close above this recent high would signal a continuation, or a breakout trade, rather. I'll be looking for a long from there. USDJPY, also just a breakout opportunity. If it pushes up and closes above this resistance area, above the recent high, I'm looking for a long trade. Now, I am going to say it once more, just because I really, really want this to sink in, guys. Yes, the 5 trades we've taken, we're doing really well. But this style of trading is riskier than our daily chart style of trading. So do not get overconfident. Do not risk more than is in your risk management plan. If you should be risking less in these conditions. So I've already explained last week when I talked about my 5 tips for trading for Corona, you should be risking less. If you're risking less, like you should be, do not up your risk just because we're having good performance right now. Good performance is not indicative of future results. We could take 5 losses in a row from here on out, and if you up your risk to 2% per trade, then all the profits we made in our last 5 trades are going to get wiped out because you're getting overconfident. I really, really don't want people to do that because I've heard so many horror stories of people doing that. So I want to drive that point home. Don't let good results make you overconfident. We're going to stick to our risk. We're going to be sensible. And we're going to keep trading through this. And we're probably going to be profitable because I traded this way throughout all of 2008. And it was just my best trading year ever. So as long as you stick to your rules, I believe this is going to be a fantastic year for us. Much better than last year, which was pretty average. So yeah, guys, that wraps it up. Are there any questions? Doesn't look like this trade's doing good, George. I might have been right in there with you, to be honest. You've been taking a lot of trades lately. A lot more than me, even. When's the next webinar? That's a good question. Now, normally we do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I'm starting to think it might be useful to do more webinars. So we're going to leave the next one for Tuesday, maybe Monday next week. We're not going to do one tomorrow because I need to do a few things tomorrow. I'll be in the kitchen all day tomorrow. Yeah, we won't do one tomorrow, guys. Sorry, but I'm going to be busy. But I feel that it might be a good idea to do more webinars than we normally do. At least over the shorter term. Because trading the 1 hour charts is different. And free webinars probably won't cover everything we want to cover. We've already... Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm just thinking this through as I'm talking about it. We'll be doing more webinars. We'll do one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, and maybe a Friday one. I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes. But we'll do definitely Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. We'll give that a trial run. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see if it's a useful thing. Yeah, I think because we're trading the 1 hour charts, it does make sense to do more webinars. So yeah, I think the current market conditions, ADNK, are conducive to doing more webinars. or lend themselves to more webinars. And honestly, I'm trading a lot more than I normally would, so it's really not an issue for me to do webinars. Because, I'm going to be at my computer anyway a lot of the time, just keeping an eye on the charts. As I imagine a lot of us are going to be, because much of the world is self-isolating right now. So I do have a lot of free time, actually. Are there any other questions, guys? Are you still working, Lisa, or do you just have some days off, but you're still overall working? You're closed. Fair enough. Now, a lot of places are shutting down. Pretty crazy times. I was saying to a friend yesterday, yesterday was a historic day. A day that's going to be remembered for decades. Yesterday, the pound dropped lower than it's dropped for 30 years. And it took the central banks coming in. I believe it was actually a joint effort between the Fed, the Federal Reserve of America, and obviously the British Central Bank. I believe it was a combined effort that it took to stop it. And I honestly believe they tried to stop it all the way up at 1.17, but they didn't manage to, and it crashed even further before they managed to finally put a stop to it down at 1.14. That's like a historic moment. Obviously, we're living through a historic time with the coronavirus shutting down half the world. But when we look back at the history of currencies, this is going to be a day that's remembered. It was insane to see this crash. Oh, not bad. Definitely a nice birthday present. Doesn't look like there's any questions, so let's wrap this one up. Won't be doing a webinar tomorrow, like I said, but we'll do one on Monday. Obviously, I'll be active on the forum and the chat room tomorrow. Guys, keep an eye on the chat room. It's the easiest way to share these 1 hour chart trades. I post them to the forum too, but the chat room is really where you want to the chat room is really where you want to be in order to catch these trades, just because it's a lot faster and it's a lot easier to update on the chat room. So that's where these trades are mostly shared. So jump into the chat room. If you have trouble accessing the chat room, it's pretty straightforward. Just go to the course homepage. Because this is going to be a public YouTube video, I don't want to show you guys how to get there. It's locked off anyway, but still, I don't want to show you. I don't want to show it all, because then people are just going to try and get in, even though it's locked. But, just sign into the website and click the Mastermind tab, and then scroll down and you'll see the chat room. So yeah, just hop into the chat room. you have to be a full member, by the way, just to clarify. Jump into the chat room. There's lots of chat going on there. It's very active, especially recently. Other than that, guys, thank you very much for attending, and I will see you guys for Tuesday's webinar. But of course, I'll see you on the chat room and the forum. Before that, thanks and bye.